Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I wanted to do a brand new Awakened character tier list. It's been 4 months, May of this year, since the last time that we did this. We've gotten a ton of new Awakening characters, but also the meta has shifted so much with the introduction of tier 4s and content that highlights them, and it has really altered and in a lot of ways reduced the value of a lot of Awakened characters. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't be Awakening characters. You should absolutely still do so, and there's still tons of very useful Awakening characters, but it's required a lot of reevaluation as far as these characters are concerned. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a lot of changes to this tier list, the way that it's done. So previously we just had the busted, godly, demi-godly, useful, and then not good categories. Now the leader support only is a new one that I've added. This is where previously the PvP only was. So I know not all of those characters are leads or support. Actually, most of them end up being leads or supports just by default, but that's not why they're originally there. They're originally there as PvP only, but I feel like this is going to better analyze and better classify Awakening characters, because there are definitely some, like for example, Hulkbuster is straight up just a lead or support. In this case, of course, an amazing, he's got some support qualities, but also an amazing lead for Iron Man. Another good example is Ares. Another good example is Bullseye. So I'm not going to go through and explain step by step, because we have a lot of characters to rebalance and sort of evaluate. I'm not going to explain all the leads and supports. You sort of just have to know that. But basically, we're just going to go ahead and edit this on the fly as I make this video, because just the constraints of what I'm doing here with my vacation, I can't really have this done ahead of time and then just refer to it on a separate screen. So we're just going to go ahead and rank these characters right now, and I can already tell that there's a lot to change, but we also have all of the new ones that have gotten awakenings in the last 4 months. You know, Angela, Nadia Van Dyne, etc. We're obviously going to add Angela to this list. I mean, she's decent for some Shadowland stages, but honestly, that's about it. I know some people like Nadia for Alliance Conquest because of her artifact, but I honestly think that she is just straight up not good. Nova's really the only one. Oh, Scourge is also just straight up terrible. Nova's really the only one that doesn't get the not good tag, and I think he's very close to being not good, but I would say if you really want to use him, he should be PvP only, and that's a very heavy emphasis on PvP only. Here for Sunbird, we're going to put him in leader support. You would put him in PvP only, like this does make sense, but you can't use him in PvP on his own. You're using him in PvP because of the support ability that he gives to Blue Dragon, and so because of that, he has to be in the lead support category. I hope that makes sense. Destroyer is another one that has to be PvP only because he's just otherwise quite bad. Honestly, I would say Agent Venom is another lead slash support. You're going to use him as a support for, you could argue that he's PvP, but I like him better as a support slash leadership for Venom, which is quite nice. Toxin's pretty good. We'll talk about him later. Valkyrie is very, very good. So we're actually going to, we have to get rid of the old Valkyrie is down there, but we have to basically put Valkyrie very close to the top. If she's not godly, she's busted. All of the godlies need to be dropped down a peg. And the reason for that is not because I dislike them, but because there are new cats in town, and those new cats go by the name of Moon Knight and see, like, this is brutal with the trackpad from a laptop. This is actually really hard to do, so I basically have to do it sort of step by step here, which is why I should probably leave the top ones to the end. I think Blue Dragon's a little bit better than Moon Knight, but yeah, those two, because they can go to level 80, because they can go to tier 4, they have to be ahead of the pack. But as you can see, we have what, 9 tier 4s now, or 10? I don't know how many, but only 2 of them have been transcended, right? The rest are all tier 3: Iron Man, Thor, Storm, Hulk, Carnage, Venom, Black Bolt, etc., etc. So and Black Widow. So yeah, the transcendents are definitely falling behind because of that. But again, that's just comparing them to the overall value of the rest of the roster, not saying that on their own they are not good. Mystique is downgraded to just a lead or support for sure. Again, Iron Fist, he's technically a lead or support for the other defenders, as is Jessica Jones. But again, like, it's tough. I think at this point, X-23 is not good. I know it's tough to say, but yeah. Spider-Woman is just a lead slash support, nothing else. I would say America Chavez is great, but actually PvP only. I'm going to keep Heimdall as a lead slash support because that's what he is, as is, in my opinion, Echo, but I'm going to definitely put her a lot closer to the front of the group because she's a very good lead slash support ability. Luke Cage, again, PvP only, but he's slipping at this point. Colossus, he's there for the support, but the support is really only for PvP, if that makes sense. Gilgamesh, I would just straight up say he's not good. Yeah, I know. And Cersei, I would massively downgrade from godly to PvP only. Again, I think you can use her in some instances, but it's tough. It's tough. I definitely say that Mr. Sinister is PvP only. Honestly, like, Drax is PvP only, but he's not good. Yeah, I don't know. It's really tough to rank Awakening characters like this. Thing is only used for his Fantastic Four leadership slash support. I honestly think that Swordmaster is not good at this point. Invisible Woman, I think she has a support ability. You can't really use her very well in PvP anymore. Spider-Gwen, same sort of thing. I think she's just not good. 2-year-old uniform now. Arrow, same sort of thing. You get a lot of characters now shifting to the bottom. Medusa, just a lead for Universals and a support for Inhumans, which has more relevance now because of Black Bolt tier 4, but still, there's definitely some struggle to justify the value. Is Quasar useful? Not really. I gotta say, I gotta put her down here. Not good. Spectrum, I would again just say leadership slash support. She's got a pretty good leadership at that. You could argue she's for PvP. I would argue that Rescue is just a better option for PvP. And again, it's mostly Alliance Conquest type stuff. It's not like PvP. And then we come to the useful category. So this is where we're going to have to move down a lot of these demigods who are just not demigods. Like, I think Beta Ray Bill is just a lead now for sure. Funny enough, there is actually one character here that I actually have to move up. Yes, believe it or not, that is 100% true. But I would say Yelena is useful for ABL with canceling. I would say Corvus is still useful. Gambit is definitely still useful as well for ABL for canceling. Mysterio is definitely on the cusp of being not useful. Baron Mordo, although he's definitely strong. Maybe stronger than Quasar, but no. Yeah, she's definitely demigod very well, but you're just using Sif for her leader support. So no, Sif would have to go here as well, although she would definitely be right up at the front. And these are ranked, by the way. I'm at least trying to rank the first few among the rest. So I do think that these are like the best. So then Sif should be first then in that situation. The best lead slash support of the transcended variety. Of course, there is one better, and that is Wave and Valkyrie, but they, like, you technically Wave is here, right? But you also use her for ABX canceling, so I think it just highlights her value more accurately when you put her in this category rather than putting her in the lead support category. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I would say Silk is just at the useful category now. Same thing with Human Torch. And then you could, move Betsy down here. She is one of the only alternatives to Storm for ABL, so that is definitely something that helps her retain a lot of her value. Black Dwarf has lost a lot of value, as has Dr. Octopus, with all of these new combat types who are about to come in and be ranked, so don't worry about that. Moonstone has definitely lost value as well, so you got to put her down here. Electro has... Although he's maintained his value, I would still put him in the godly category, as I would for Supergiant. And then, yeah, Kate as well, to be honest with you. Makari, tough. Definitely just ABX. But I would definitely put her, yeah, I think this makes sense. However, like I said, there was one character that I had to improve, and that is actually Requiem Gamora. Still an amazing lead and still one of the best speed villains for ABX. I know Green Goblin, yada, 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 but no, Requiem still does a lot of work. It's a tag team with Electro, but I do have to give it to Requiem because they also have the leadership on top of having the damage and stuff. Electro just sort of, he has a leadership, but you don't use his leadership. To be clear, you use either Green Goblin's leadership or you would use Gamora's. So you can get, like, some people are going to get pressed about this and be like, oh, you should put Electro up here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. It's like, whatever. I'm not saying that they're better than Makari. They're better in some ways. It's just that there's better options than Makari for what Makari does now. So it's tough. It's tough. Maybe you put Makari up here. Okay, that's fine. We have the rest of this list to get to here. Obviously, barring the 4 uniforms here that have been replaced by better uniforms. As far as Toxin goes, I would definitely say he is a high demigod. I wouldn't call him godly, but he's definitely a much better standalone character than most of these options here. Like, Kate is only really doing work with Makari for ABX. So I'd probably be comfortable putting him somewhere around here. I think he's, again, better than some of these characters like Supergiant and Betsy, but has less specific value for specific game modes. Titania, on the other hand, absolutely amazing. She goes right to the top of Godly, and the only reason why I'm not putting her in Busted is because, of course, she can't get tier 4, etc., but she is very, very good. Juggernaut is a tough one. I think I really think he's useful, as is Absorbing Man, but really they rely heavily on Titania. And if Titania didn't exist, their value would plummet because of her leadership and her support give them so much, and they allow that triple swap play, right? Because she has burn and yada, yada, yada for ABX. So I don't want to undervalue them. I also don't want to overvalue them. So I may be undervaluing them right now as standalone characters, just to be clear. As standalone characters, they're definitely better than Dr. Octopus, but the thing is, you got to then use them as part of a team. So, you know, I guess you could sort of do this. And sort of balance things out a little bit. Kingo probably doesn't deserve to be that high. Yeah, I think that kind of fits a little bit better. It's tough. It's definitely tough. And then for Robbie, he lost a lot of value when Squad Battle got erased. So he's kind of useful. Yeah, I guess I would probably put him somewhere around here, but he's not that good. Remember, he's not that good for like World Boss Legend and stuff. So honestly, I'm not really sure what to do with him. And then Scream, I think Scream is really, really good. There's just not a lot of content outside of World Boss where she really shines. So I have a tough time ranking her ahead of these characters that can do multiple pieces of content. Perhaps putting her around Moonstone makes sense. Yeah, this probably looks about right to me. Again, I think Toxin's more value overall, because especially considering the fact he doesn't need a uniform. But in terms of single, numbers of different content they can all do, Toxin is probably falling behind at this point. Not at this point, but like he does less, right, for your roster overall than the combination of Juggernaut, Titania, and Absorbing Man. But again, that's 3 characters that you need to build up. So I think this is what the list is going to look like. I did this on the fly in this video right now, so there may be a couple of errors. Hit me up in the comments down below if you can spot any of them, and I'll be happy to change them. I hope no one comes to me with stuff like, Swordman's 50% all defense should be a leadership, or Red Guardian's 35% HP for Hulk. Like, they're just not relevant leaderships. I know they are leaderships. Technically, every character in the game has a leadership, but it has to be useful in multiple pieces of content in order for it to be measured, right? Like, the one thing I would say that I can see is, why does Ares get put as a lead support, but Elsa doesn't? And in that case, I would say you're right. He doesn't deserve to be there, so I move him down. So everybody else that has a lead either has something more interesting than just 30% attack. They have some sort of buffs or whatever, or they have very specific supports, or they have a better leadership, like 35% or whatever, or they have a combination of a leadership and a support. So yeah. This is what the new list looks like for Transcended characters. They've definitely been slipping compared to tier 3s with the tier 4 bumps that we've seen. So I would probably expect in the next few months for the devs to rectify that, right? It may not happen right away, but I expect by early 2023, we should be seeing a few more Transcended characters get that big, massive bump to catch up. And we also haven't seen, besides Titania, we haven't really seen a Transcended character get as much of a bump as we saw the tier 3s like Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, and Doctor Strange get, right? Those and She-Hulk. Amazing buffs and amazing reworks for tier 3. So yeah, we'll have to see that, but transcended characters definitely needing some love right now in the meta of Marvel Future Fight. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.